All right, what's this? Cults.
Oh, shit.
Here we are in a permaculture community.
Yes.
With the cult leader himself, Rupert, here.
Oh, gosh.
So what? Okay, well, cults. What would you consider red flags in a cult, and something to observe and to be wary of?
Well, there would be a... Oh, man, it's such a edgy one, right? Because I get accused of being a cult leader. You can't spell permaculture without cult. And Grounded is like emerging to be quite a reputable, influential organization. And I do not shy away from the fact of stepping in and owning it as the leader of that. So there is, I think, but I also think it's important at an organizational level. Like, an organization is stronger when it does have a strong personality and character, individual.
So the cult of the leader.
Well, that's it. Yeah, sure. That's it. Like,
but that is a huge red flag also, because
the cult of the leader.
Well, leadership cults. Like, you've got Mao, the guys in North Korea, Hitler, Stalin. They had these leadership cults. So I think sometimes. Okay. I was just being facetious.
You've referred to people that impose their leadership by force, right?
Yeah.
So that's one layer of it. Like, they use that. And I'd say that's definitely like the darkest side of what I'm trying to explain, which is when you have a strong character who's like convicted of their ideas and their beliefs, and they're executing it and they're influencing everyone around them. And then they're building up other layers, like institutional layers and business layers, and it like builds this thing.
Yeah.
You know, a great example of that is someone like Elon Musk.
So how would you build accountability into that structure?
But then there's another layer of like the dark side of that is like cults that are not imposed by force, and you still have this central character. But then they do also, like, some crazy shit happens, right? Like where the cult leader will go, all right, now we're all going to kill ourselves, and everybody does it. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. So that's them cultivating that. It's like the darkest side of that realm, which can be good, right? Which is a character who really believes in what they're saying, who lives and acts the way that they're saying, and it's very coherent. Yeah. Right? I kind of embrace it on a very small scale. Elon Musk on another scale. I'm not comparing myself to Elon Musk, but I'm just trying to explain this idea of the individual leading and doing it in a very sort of influential way. So then the danger is like so you're saying how to create accountability in that,
because I think that's the most important thing for a leader, because I think you end up with cult leaders don't have any accountability. No, anyone that's going to pull them up and hold them accountable, they get ejected. So they create an environment where no one questions. So
so then all I can speak is from our experience and what I've sort of observed in the world and tried to integrate into our experience of Grounded. Which is, there's two layers to it, right? Because there's people within the ranks, within my vision and thing, you're part of that, which is they come back with this feedback and go, hey, Roops, you're like acting out, whatever. And then I might say, no, I disagree. And that, there's this risk they can be removed. And that's definitely happened. But then there's another layer, and which is people come in and go, da-da-da-da, Roops, you da-da-da, acting out. And then I listen to that. Ultimately, it's my conscience that's going to tell me whether there's truth in what anybody's saying with their feedback to me. And so this is the traits of a good leader. You've got to be able to listen and sense everything that's going on around, because if you can't impose your leadership by force, it's all voluntary, right? If I am not listening to the people around me and I'm not giving them what they want or what they need, they're going to go elsewhere to get that. So there's this trade-off of like, okay, I'm giving value to these people around that helps them in their needs, it's helping me in my needs, so there's this exchange and they continue to be around and in the vision and part of the thing. And we've gone through this a lot, right? Like this accountability in the leadership how do you do that to prevent it being a cult? And we're working through this now on the property, right?
So having opposing opinions about
opposing opinions is good, but then it's also like, like having processes or that even the leaders are willing to submit to, like a process, like which is what we're kind of working through now with our conflict resolution process. But then there's also like what I've seen or experienced is like, okay, so people can come back and feedback and go, Roops, you're acting out this, that, and whatever. I will make my own conscious assessment and go, no, I don't agree.
Yeah.
And they may still be right. They've only just, like, I've just gone, no, I'm not ready to face that or deal with that energetically, subconsciously. Someone else comes to me with it. It might take multiple times. We go, okay, shit, this is actually a thing. All right. I'll submit and surrender myself and be accountable to this process and change and grow and evolve. I think I've done that, not perfectly, but well enough to continue to attract good people and for the organization to continue to grow.
Yeah.
There will be, and I know there is, people out there that accuse me of not being accountable when they've brought issues to the table, right? Mm-hmm. But I've just said, hey, that thing that you've brought to the table is not an issue, and actually what you're doing is this, and then they won't be accountable to the thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
And to the point where then that's like, well, that's a conflict between two individuals. I hold the power as the leader of the organization. I've just dismissed them. Mm. That's a valid thing. We've actually gone through processes where I've done that with someone. They haven't been happy with that. They've then gone around and rounded up a crew or a team to sit then in circle.
Yeah.
And then I've had to go, hey, like this is how I justified the decision making.
Yeah.
And then a board will either agree with me or not. Yeah. And, you know, there's been often times where the board has agreed with me and that person, we've written official letters to these people, right? And said, hey, like what you're doing and saying, and it's not a thing.